This video goes out to Dieguito High School and all students, past, present, and future, especially students from 1985 through 1989 or 88 when I graduated, and even past that because my cousin went to school and said they were telling Danny Quinn war stories 10 years after I was gone. Yes, I did get kicked out for an attempted rape that never happened. The priest's testimony was my saving grace. I was in a room that was locked with a girl from St. Mary's for about 3 or 4 minutes, and there was a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Dan, are you in there? It was God looking out for me. It was a priest from the hall whose testimony was that when he listened, it was silent. But the girl's testimony was that my stereo was playing so loud that her cries for help couldn't be heard. It turned out that she was the freshman sister of a junior that was roommates with Patty Noble, a girl that attacked me the year before, and I bitch slapped off me in defense, and I got kicked out for 2 semesters. That happened after I make the greatest stop in the history of Notre Dame football, as you can see, catching a tailback, diving for a touchdown on 4th and inches, for which Lou Holtz fires me because instead of trying to win the game, he was cheating and shaving points. So when I hit the sidelines, I was immediately fired from the second team, even though I should have been on the first team, according to Dave Butler, who was starting in front of me, and brought a case of beer and a 5th of Jack Daniels to apologize before the season started. So when I hit the sidelines and was fired, I immediately quit football for boxing because many of you that went to San Dieguito heard about Brano, Mark Brano Brannon, the notorious gangster. He was a friend of mine, and he told me that I could have coaches killed if I wanted to. And I didn't want to have coaches killed, so I quit football on the spot for boxing because I didn't want to go to prison. Somebody always talks and gets caught. Well, not always, but I didn't want that to happen to me. So getting kicked out for an attempted rape was my first $1 million opportunity. The priests were told by their attorneys within the first $20,000 spent in my defense to settle the case because of the knock, knock, knock at the door. But no, Notre Dame didn't do the family traditional values thing that they should have done and owned up to their mistake. They spent, continuance, motion, raised the price of the lawsuit, and my family folded at $20,000, even though Fred Riva was a millionaire and was my uncle that handcuffed me to a tree for 4.5 hours, standing on my tiptoes, and drew blood when I was 8 years old at a family party. So if you heard rumors about Dan Quinn, it was my first $1 million opportunity, getting kicked out for an attempted rape that never happened. My second $1 million opportunity was playing football because Frank Stams, who was a 2nd-round draft pick, and Lou Holtz fired me off the team to make room for him. And I beat Frank Stams like he was a redheaded stepchild on a regular basis every time we faced each other in practice. So if you've heard rumors, I hope I've dispelled them and brought you up to speed, which is that I discovered a miracle that's going to pay out the houses for everybody that I went to school with. Stevia as cold fusion, splitting water into a natural gasoline that can power engines whose exhaust can be turned into the fountain of youth if you remove all of the floating toxic soap at the end of the blend. Stevia, if you drink very, very sweet stevia water all day long, can cure cancer, diabetes, and obesity. And for those of you who are doubting that, go to ncbi.nlm.nih.gov and plug in Stevia rebidana. That's STEVIA REBAUDIANA, and choose PubMed and read about how stevia has anti-cancer properties, and I'm the guy that figured out that massive doses of it, drinking very, very sweet water on a regular basis, cures the human body in blazing speed. I've also figured out the fountain of orgasm for women, for those of you who heard that I used to get teased for having a small penis. Pressing down on the belly, on her belly, below the belly button, on her right side, against the inside fingers, which are in and up to the bottom of the G-spot, and touching the fingertips and massaging in a violent action, plus clitoral stimulation, will bring even rape victims that can't come to over 100 in an hour. So Dan Quinn's discovered 2 miracles that are going to rock the world, and one of them is going to pay off the houses of everybody that I went to high school with.